When women got pregnant outside of wedlock, this was the tradition. We can say you have rights to have whatever tradition that you desire. Even if we think it's harmful and injurious, you can have that. It's your church. And at the same time, we can say that this is toxic. It's a very toxic tradition. This is harmful. It plants seeds of shame, anxiety, depression, social isolation. It puts all of that in the mom and in the baby she's carrying. It passes through the placenta. This young lady, I guarantee you, has a high and holy sacred respect for her pastor and her church and the faith of her mom. And I know that she hates to see her pastor, who she loves and who is like family, being attacked and bullied online in the way that we believe she was attacked and bullied. We came into this conversation after seeing the viral video talking about one victim, but now we have two. You guys, not all of you, have made another victim, and his name is Bishop Terry Jackson. Now, you cannot like what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying is the truth. If you saw the video of the young man going in there, recording live and interrupting, the way that he approached the pastor was inappropriate. And I don't know why in the whole hell in the heaven y'all didn't have some security. With all of the shootings at church, I don't know why any church doesn't have security, especially protecting the mouth of the house. Because without Bishop Terry Jackson, there is no True Vine Apostolic. But anyway, the way that you guys have handled your outrage, and your outrage is appropriate. You got every right to do that. And you're correct to be outraged because this is public abuse. Ladies and gentlemen, now y'all have taken on the spirit of the thing that you said was wrong because you got triggered up. And I got to tell y'all the truth. Y'all know I'm a protector of women and anyone that is disenfranchised, I help them. But I got to call y'all out because you're in your outrage and in you speaking up for the girl and being there for her, which I think is great. That's what we need to do as humanity. But at the same time, we've created another victim. And we are wrong. We are wrong. In my opinion, I think you're wrong. The pastor's, the bishop's actions that he has a right to hold to this old tradition in his mind and in all of the minds prior to him, they did it to raise a standard in the face of the devil and the community that says we believe holiness. You heard him preach that in the clip I just played. That's what they believe. And they believe that it is honoring God that they worship, that they call out, rebuke, and say that this fornication act that you did and the pregnancy is a shame before God and misrepresents this church and this congregation. This is why they do this act, because it gives her an opportunity to say, I'm sorry for misrepresenting in the community. I think it's piss poor. I think it's toxic and tragic and horrible, but that's their practice. Understanding their conviction and their faith and belief, I get it. And I know they don't think it's wrong. But those of us that do not have church brain, that have left this kind of Christian practice, we see it for what it is. And we know the repercussions. Me and you both know women who are still carrying the shame and passed it to their kids, and they walk around here mute and passive because of what happened to them in the church. That's horrible, and it makes me angry. But my anger will not alienate myself from logic and what is appropriate and proper, and give space for someone to be as they are and practice what they believe. And that's what y'all doing. And this is how our world ends up as it is. And we end up with a Trump administration because we, the people, are the very spirit of Donald Trump. In our action, we just do it in our community and in our world. But the reality is he's in that seat because that is the president we deserve, because that is who we are. What he did and what the church allowed and what this church still signs off on, horrible. And what you did is just as bad, if not worse. Because now he created one victim, you created two. It heightens shame and guilt when you do this kind of stuff, Bishop Terry. When you make somebody publicly confess what they have done, it deepens the humiliation. It erodes their self-worth. It increases anxiety and depression. It creates a fear of judgment and of society. I'm standing before these people and I'm telling my private business. It makes me want to withdraw from society. It throws me into persistent worry about my own self and my child. And she's carrying this child in all of those energies. I don't want to see them. I just had to stand before them to tell what I did. And now I got to go to church the next day. Well, in some customs, sometimes their custom was you apologize and we don't want to see you in this church until after you have the baby. Or if you come to church, you got to sit in the back. I could tell by looking at this toxic tradition, the way that Truvine and Bishop Jackson did it, that it was done in their heart and in their mind in love. And they stood and they clapped for her. It let me know they won't drop in this girl. They think this is right. And they think this is proper. And they stood and clapped, everybody, to show their support. And here y'all come on the internet. We gonna show her the best baby shower. I get that. But you ain't even thinking about what she wants and what she's thinking about her pastor and her church and her mom and her community that's been there the whole time. I'm not saying y'all wrong. I'm not saying we're wrong. But what I am saying that we need to think before we're hijacked and triggered by our own trauma. Y'all not even having the conversation that need to be had. I want to talk to the pastor and to the church and then to her, because we want to reform the church. So now she's going to have her and every woman this has ever happened to. She's going to socially isolate. When she come in the room, she's not going to know how to properly place herself without some healing and some trauma work. These women end up with a distorted self-image. Ask me how I know. I know these women as adults. Public shaming. We got to recognize everybody's faith practice, and we can have an opinion about it all, especially if it harms and hurts. But we cannot turn into our oppressor, and we cannot be so bent on our wokeness and everybody being free and everything being reformed and deconstruction that then you end up moving just like them. We've created another victim, and we've done to this black pastor in the name of speaking up for the young lady. We have harmed a black pastor